This episode of Classroom Brew is brought to you by Drizzly. Drizzly is an online liquor store delivery service that makes ordering your favorite drink as easy as a few clicks on your phone or tablet. Simply enter your address, choose from thousands of your favorite brands, and get ready for your quick delivery. Right now, Classroom Brew listeners can get $5 off their first order when you go to bit.ly/classroombrewdeliver. That's bit.ly/classroombrewdeliver. Drizzly, let the drinks come to you. And we made it, guys. This is the final episode of the student series for 2019. Hope you guys have enjoyed it so far. I think we've had a really good array of conversations, of student experiences, levels of disclosure. I think it's been fun. It's been emotional, all in good ways. But I really hope that you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed not just talking to these fine young people, but also putting this out there for you guys. So if you would like, you could recommend it to somebody else. Hopefully you've liked it enough to pass it along. But I really do think that, these students of mine, former students of mine now, these young adults that are entering in the real world have a lot that we can learn from. And I really want to give a voice or a platform to their voice, rather, because they have these fantastic stories. They have these hardships, these moments of triumph that need to be shared. So again, share that. That would be great. For this last episode of the student series, you're going to hear from Rob. So without any further ado, here's Rob on the final episode of the 2019 student series. Welcome to the Classroom Brew podcast. The teacher podcast is a little bit like drunk history. But wait, do you guys actually drink while you record episodes? Yeah. Actually. Yeah. What, 2-3 days left of school, and then it's just on to graduation?
Graduation.
Man, that's gotta feel good. So.
Yeah.
So Rob, thanks for taking time out of your morning to chat with me.
No problem.
So you've got quite a bit on your plate, right?
Yeah.
So throughout the year, I remember I had you last year, actually, in US when you were a junior, right?
Yep, that's correct.
And you came to our school. We won't use school names or anything like that, but you came to our school midway through the year. Did you move around a lot, or what happened?
I moved around, came from
Okay.
and then moved out to Freeport. Came from Freeport, moved back to East Chicago in Indiana, and then from Indiana moved back to out here. That's where I started.
Okay. How come you moved around so much? Was it family stuff?
Yeah,
or?
just a lot of family issues, not being settled. My parents weren't motivated to keep their children going. So my dad stepped up and made it happen for me.
Sure. When you say not motivated, like, is there inconsistency or?
Yeah, it wasn't enough actually sitting down with their children, actually being able to have that conversation of how their day went at school and about what's going on through their mind and stuff like that in that predicament. So yeah, my dad stepped up and made me kind of look forward to doing it for myself.
That's good. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that there was some struggles initially, but do you think, was there anything that maybe motivated him or a change that you saw, or did he just one day, he was like, all right, this is it, Rob?
I started off in a flipping car. So it started with that.
Okay.
And then I've been shot twice in my back. So when I got shot after that, it was kind of like he cut the line, made me like a stay-home student, and then
Sure.
I started doing it for myself. None of my brothers or sisters graduated, so
Right.
I had to break that chain.
Right. And you had to try to protect you at that point too. So what was that? So, and of course, if it's too personal, you don't have to go into that, but what exactly happened? Because we've got a lot of students that are unfortunately affected by gun violence. Well, I remember you mentioned it a little bit last year, but I think it was a little fresh at the time.
Yeah. So what happened that night was I was in Linwood and I was hanging with the wrong crowd, and they were doing things that I wasn't doing. So when they hit a different level, I was not on the level they were on, and they were doing the things they planned to do that night, and that's not what I wanted, and it turned out to me having the gunfire.
Oh wow, that'd be scary, man.
Yeah,
but you're all good now. Is the shoulder right?
Yeah, everything's healed. We're good.
Okay. Did you have any support, like when that was all said and done? Like,
actually, I did. Again, the family support was there, but it was more of my dad, like more of a father son thing. He gave me a lot of the attention that I needed.
Sounds like he was kind of your rock then.
Right. Yeah, like I said, he was there. He like you said, he was my rock, man. That's my pops.
That's good. That's nice to hear that too, because especially like, south side of Chicago, not a lot of people have that.
Right.
How did you, before you had that support, you said there was a time when like your parents were just busy, right? They had a lot going on.
Working, my dad, he has herniated discs.
Oh, wow.
His back is going out. He needs a knee replacement. So it's a lot going on his end, a lot going on his plate. Plus, he wants to see his son do well. He wants to see his son graduate. So he goes the extra mile to help me actually push through and make things happen for me.
Sure. Before you got to that point, though, like let's say maybe it was before that moment when he stepped up to kind of protect you and all that, how'd you stay motivated in school? I think at the time, I don't think you were at our school yet, but...
So how I stood motivated was just basically looking at like how my lifestyle was. So seeing my parents not graduating and my dad having to go back and my brother not graduating, so it kind of made me turn to like, I need to break the chain and make the family better.
Right.
And from there, I had to get settled, and I came to and made it happen.
Sure. Now, is there any advice that you would give to either a student that maybe they have a similar situation or maybe they're struggling to find their way? Anything? Because now you've gone through your 4 years. You're a veteran now at this point. You know what it takes. Is there any advice you would give to that student?
Man, the advice I can give you is keep your mind right. Keep focused and take any advice you could. If they tell you to do something, maybe not that particular way, but maybe try to look into that direction. Maybe it's something that somebody sees that you don't, that the potential you have.
Right.
So the advice that you hear, 9 times out of 10, it might be right.
Even if it's hard to hear sometimes, maybe?
Even if it's hard to hear something you might not want to hear.
Sure.
It might be good.
You even mentioned, like you said, I was hanging with the wrong crowd. So it's like you kind of had that insight.
Right.
Just maybe it was a little hard to come to terms with at the time. It takes a big man to do that, man.
Yeah, man. See, on my end, it took something bad to happen for me to realize.
Sure. Yeah. Someone that has gone through so much and has seen a whole lot, you're the expert in this room right now. I don't know what it's like to be a student in CPS right now. And this is only my 2nd year as a teacher, but do you have any advice that you could give as a student that you've had a lot going on in your life? Is there any advice you can give to a teacher for reaching that student or making sure that they do learn something or that they do show up to school?
Advice that I could give to a teacher is not every student is the same. Not every student may want to learn the same thing or learns the same way, but each and every other student has their own story to tell and their own way of lifestyle of living. So maybe when they come to school, it's fun here. This is the grass on the other side. When they go home, maybe the grass isn't so green.
Right.
So when they come to school, they look forward to telling the teachers what they need, and maybe the teachers are like another parent to them at CPS.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that, because we get a lot of behavior issues at the school, do you think there's like a cause of that?
It's hard to say. Just maybe the way they're treated here, maybe they're treated with respect and not, how should I say it, hands down, like how a parent should be. But maybe because the parents aren't here, maybe students act the way they do that they can't at the house to get that extra energy out.
Right. And I'm asking because I don't know. I'm always curious. And it's, again, like you're the expert in the room because you actually see the things I don't see. Like I get the kind of the facade from students sometimes, you know what I mean? Like I know stuff happens that I don't see.
Right.
Like I know that shit happens, but it's always interesting to kind of ask, Was there anything throughout your high school career that you were like, man, this is an incredible moment, or like something real funny that a teacher did? Or okay, well, you had it ready. You were like, man, I know this right away.
Well, started from last year. I had, you were one of my great teachers. I always, you were there. You taught me the things I need to know and just helped me push forward on things. I told you a lot of my situations, so you knew a lot about it. And high school moments, man, they're fun. I wish I would have stood all 4 years from my freshman year to senior year. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but my 2 years here, man, they were an excitement.
I'm glad to hear it. Were there any like big projects that you got involved in, or like what made it so, like what about our school made it such a good experience for? I'm glad it was a good experience, but what about it made it so profound?
Well, just like they're not the school's technically real with the students. So like the students know what the teachers want and want to hear and this and that site, but the teachers know what the students are about. Like they've been there, done it, did it. They've lived their high school lives. So some teachers know what students want. And the field trips this year were A1. We had a lot of fun field trips this year.
Sure.
We just had a lot of fun. The teachers are great. We just came back from Six Flags this weekend.
That's right, grad night. How'd that go?
Grad night, man, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Long ride on the bus, bumpy ride, but and that's like it was fun, real fun.
Yeah, that's good. So what are your plans after? Because you're walking the stage, and we're talking less than a week or so now at this point. But any plans for after high school, or what do you want to?
Stay focused to just work and keep myself out of the other side of the world. Just keep to the side I know and keep moving forward in that forward.
For sure. And you were bouncing around. So you were at a post office, or sorry, you were at FedEx, and then
Walgreens, and then
you've been everywhere, man.
Man, went from FedEx to Walgreens to worked a couple of family liquor stores, and now I'm at AutoZone.
Right. How do you manage balancing school life and then work life, especially because when you were at FedEx, you were working like late night, early morning stuff, right? Like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. How'd you manage that?
I love my money. And so the way I look at it is, you need school to move any further in life, but you need money to make things happen now. So I kind of looked at it as you got to do both, and I'm a man. So as a man, you have to take the responsibilities that comes with of being a man, which is working, paying bills, and just keeping the house running. Right,
exactly.
So, like I said, I started off life early, and me and my brother had moved into our own house, and here I am paying my own bills, senior year, my own bills, credit card, and everything else, man. Early life.
That's good, man. Well, Rob, I've only known you for about 2 years now, but I'm proud of how far you come in just that short amount of time. I'm glad that you're safe, you're alive, you're with us, and I'm glad that whatever you do moving forward, you have the good work ethic that you like to see in students, so I know you'll be successful.
Man, thank you.
Well, as you can see, last but certainly not least, it was a fantastic conversation. I truly appreciate the level of vulnerability that Rob was comfortable disclosing, and he took time out of his morning to sit down with me. So just a fine young man. I'm proud of where he's come, and I do wish him the best. He knows he can keep in touch with me too. But Rob, if you're listening, feel free, man. Just don't be afraid, rather, to reach out. That was it for the student series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week, you're going to hear from 2 teachers at once, one of whom is no longer at our school after her first year. If you haven't already, make sure to rate and review whatever app you're listening in. You can reach out on social media, Twitter and Instagram. It's at classroombrew. You can also email us, classroombrew@gmail.com. Spread the word, all that good stuff. Be sure to check out Drizzly. If you go to bit.ly/classroombrewdeliver, you can get $5 off your order. Drizzly is basically an online liquor store delivery service. Think about like Postmates or Grubhub, but their specialty is liquor. And that means beer, wine, spirits, whiskey, everything that you can think of. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. So that's bit.ly/classroombrew-deliver. Drizzly, let the drinks come to you. That was all I had for you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and until next week, class dismissed.